Baseball's back, and so is a former pro baseball player, but running for the State House is different than Congress.
All the time out on the road and with the RV and everything, but this is 11 precincts. I get to walk, I get to meet people a lot more and have a lot deeper relationships, and that really intrigues me.
J.D. Scholten has parked his campaign RV, but he's hitting the road for a different run this time. He'll talk about the first bill he'd want to file in Des Moines and some inside baseball about his party's recent problems. And Iowans are helping to feed families in Ukraine, but some Iowans say they also need help. See what's happened for one woman since the governor ended additional food assistance. And the Field of Dreams is in Dyersville, and it's brought players and fans to the state. But what else should communities do with $100 million from the feds to make tourists want to visit?
From your local election headquarters, this is The Insiders with Dave Price.
When Governor Kim Reynolds ended the state's emergency COVID-19 proclamation, she also ended extra food money for residents. During the past year, Tara Kramer has received $250 a month through the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. Now that's dropped to $20 a month. She's been out of work as doctors try to treat her rare genetic disorder, so that makes moving around painful, but this cut hurts more.
My only income is Social Security disability, and when these SNAP emergency benefit allotments came along and I was getting $250, I was able to get all my needs met. I could fill all of my prescriptions, I could afford healthy food, I could afford to get my car fixed. And when I recently found out, I think it was a month to the day, I found out that I was going to be going from $250 a month to $20 a month, and I immediately went into a panic.
So day to day, what changes when it drops that much?
Everything. Everything. I have to look at my budget. I have to see what I'm able to ration. In preparation for it, I've been buying lots of non-perishable food, and I've even skipped some meals.
Matt, you see this play out a bunch of different ways. So what are you already seeing now that these changes have happened?
We're seeing a large number of folks that are coming back to pantries that honestly haven't needed them in 2 years. Tara's not alone in her story. There are a lot of folks that are facing the same situation where you look at that amount of money, if you're on a low income budget, that's not just a change in your benefit, that's life changing. For the last 2 years, these folks have had this money that they could count on to meet their food needs. And like Tara describes, when they're able to meet that need, it allows them to use other funds to meet some of the other needs that they haven't been able to meet. And it's just kind of a rug pull out from under these folks.
So as you go forward now, Matt, was there some kind of additional COVID-related money or anything that you all got that you can kind of use to move forward? I mean, how do you adjust to this increased demand?
There was some of that, and we've been able to get in front of things a little bit and make sure we have the supply on hand we need to make sure that our pantries are all full and able to help meet the need. But things have really complicated a lot too. Prices are a lot higher than they were before the pandemic. Before the pandemic, we could get a 5-ounce can of chicken for 54 cents. Just this last week, we paid $1.04 for that same can of chicken. So what we're able to do with the dollars we have, they stretch a lot shorter than they used to. And we've now got this whole new base of folks that were thrown into food insecurity because of the pandemic. And now they're a new addition to the base of folks that we know we have to be there to support.
So Tara, as you sit there and try to make the money work here, how do you plan moving forward here? Short term, you said you're kind of stocking up on non-perishables and that, but you're in a position that doctors are still trying to figure out what the heck's even going on with you. So it's pretty tough to make a bunch of plans about, all right, I'm going to go get a job and do this or whatever. So how do you plan on making this work in the weeks and months ahead?
Well, thankfully, the universe connected me with the DMARC food pantries, so being able to go there and get some food to supplement whatever I'm getting during the month really does help. Even if it's just going and loading up on a bunch of cans of fruit, the cost of fruit in the grocery stores today, if I can find it, it's very often that I can go to the grocery stores and I'm just seeing empty shelves. So sometimes going to the food pantry is my only opportunity to get fruit. In addition to that, I just need to balance my budget and use my vehicle less so that I'm not using as much gasoline, leaning on local community fridges and mutual aids will also hopefully be helpful to me in the long run.
So the name of the show is The Insiders. Typically we have the insiders, the politicians, the decision makers, all that. They tend to watch the show as well. What do you want to tell them? What do you want them to know about people like you, what you're going through?
I think it's important to hear our stories. I think a lot of people who are making the legislation for our community aren't actually hearing directly from us. I think that they're hearing directly from other people who are also in power and people who have the accessibility to be able to speak to the legislators. Lots of people don't realize that they can get a hold of their legislators by postcard and by phone call. And I think it's important for us to continue to tell our stories to them so that they know that the solutions that they have right now aren't effective for everybody.
Matt, you know Tara's story here, so that difference in the reduction makes the difference for her affording food, medicine, all the things that she's been able to do the last 2 years. And you know that multiplied by so many different families' situations here. So let's flip that on you here. So where do we as a community need to go here? Is this Congress needs to act to restore the SNAP benefits? Should there be something else? What's the fix?
I think the bottom line, you know, there's a lot of root causes behind what's driving people to food insecurity, to be certain. But with this program funded at the level it was funded, we actually were lifting people out of poverty, which was the whole point of the program in the first place. So it was maybe for the first time ever having the effect it was supposed to have. And I think we need to understand that when we look at programs like SNAP and you see the number of folks that are getting the benefit, and a lot of times the response from politicians is, well, people just need to work. And by and large, people are working if they can. There's already a requirement that you can't be jobless and be getting this benefit for so long. And the lion's share of folks that are receiving the benefit are children who aren't in the workforce yet anyway. So we need to get off this talking point of folks facing food insecurity just need to work. It's a lot more complicated than that. There's a whole lot of root issues down to, you know, wages keeping up with the cost of living and just a whole lot of societal things that impact poverty.
So as part of your job, what's going on behind the scenes? How are you trying to get this cause in front of decision makers that could actually fund this?
When we've been on the defense for a really long time trying to fight changes that are going to take SNAP away from people.
But it took COVID to make this happen.
It did. I think the thing we have that's in front of us that's beneficial is that we're going to start negotiating a new farm bill here pretty soon, which is where the SNAP legislation lives every 5 years. And we saw a lot of positives from the pandemic time that we can point to and hopefully get in the new version of the farm bill. I don't think it hurts that we have an Iowan sitting in the Secretary of Agriculture's office in Washington who understands food insecurity and worked on it as a governor here in Iowa. So I think there's definitely opportunities at the federal level, but we have to look at the state level too. This is a really important benefit, and to Tara's point, the policymakers need to talk to the folks that are facing these situations so they really understand the impacts of the changes they're suggesting, and far too often that voice is not being heard in that conversation.
Tara, are you an optimistic person by nature here? I mean, you've been going through this health stuff for a while here as you try to get that all figured out here. Short term, though, this was what was helping you stay above here.
Yeah.
So are you optimistic that something happens here? Does this make you pessimistic in leaders? How are you feeling?
I think it makes me realistic in leaders because the proof's in the pudding. They didn't give me an opportunity to even when they knew that they were going to be cutting benefits, they could have at least stepped them down. They could have at least given me more notice than after the first of the previous month so that I could have prepared. Again, there were lots of assumptions that were made, people saying, well, why don't you just work? Well, why don't you just work enough to get food without understanding my story?
What do you do with $20 a month?
Not a lot. Not a lot. I know that there are certain stores I can go to that have lower price points than in my neighborhood, so I'll kind of travel and I can load up on maybe a couple of tubes of bagels and get some lunch meat. And
But is that like a week? I mean, how do you stretch that out?
I really don't. Maybe 4 days, 5 days.
Next, Senator Grassley on whether Congress should reinstate some of those extra benefits.